from Johannesburg, South Africa. I was, however, born in a small place called Vanderbijl Park, about an hour's drive out of Johannesburg, I think. Haven't been for many years. And then we moved to Pretoria for a short while, and then back to Johannesburg, all for Dad's work. So, yeah, I'm from Johannesburg. Wildlife photography, passion for photography and wildlife. I mean, we grew up going to the bush. So I think July you would go to the Kruger and December you would go to the beach. So from a young age in South Africa, you are kind of brought up with a love for nature and all of those kind of things. So that's what that started from, the wildlife side of it. And I mean, you need to see the places we have in South Africa. It's just amazing. So you can't not kind of grow up with it. Photography for me started when I was working on the Queen Mary 2 on the cruise ships. I was managing health and wellness at the time. And it was kind of a natural progression because you would wake up, one day you're in New York, next day Southampton, then in Quebec City, then in Hawaii, Los Angeles, St. Kitts, St. Martin, and so on. So I bought a small little camera on the ships to start photographing basically people and experiences. And I think at its core, it was photographing memories. So that's where it started. A very good friend of mine, Glenn, who was in the US with me recently now, he also got a camera and we started kind of, not competing, but check what I did, try this, do this. And then from there I started doing a course through New York Institute of Photography, kind of a correspondence thing. And yeah, that's where it started. And then after the ships and North Island, where we managed guest relations, when I came back to South Africa, that's when photography and wildlife kind of found each other, and that's when it just kind of popped open. But the passion for wildlife came, I think, from my dad and way back, kind of growing up with the bush, and photography was from travel. Jeez, very, very long time. If we're counting Wild Eye in, it must be close on going somewhere between 15 and 20 years now. So that's managing lodges, guiding, like literally driving the vehicle, guiding people through Wild Eye, private guides, Photo Africa, a little time I had in between. So yeah, somewhere between 15 and 20 years, long time. I'm thinking probably something in the health and wellness industry, because that was my previous kind of career, if you will, where I was involved with the company where we trained people to become personal trainers, Pilates instructors and such. So I used to lecture and educate on that. I was a personal trainer for a long time. I did competitive gymnastics internationally. So I would probably be in the health and wellness industry. Kind of, I don't want to say life coach, but that kind of direction of helping people physically, now mentally, kind of just be a better version of themselves. Maybe still doing sports, like I'm dying to compete at something again. So, but yeah, health and wellness, something in that line, I think I would have been there. I did a random Instagram post a couple of years ago. I was in Cape Town, and I took a picture of myself, Jono, and Dixon in one of the Mara vehicles, in our Wild Mara camp vehicles, the Land Cruisers. And I photoshopped Jono out, and I put Dwayne Johnson, the Rock, in there, and I posted that on my feed. And I said I would love to take Dwayne Johnson on safari. I got a lot of comments on that. That's the reason I did it. But right now, tough one, hey? I think, from a discussion point of view on the trip, someone like Leonardo DiCaprio could be interesting with his kind of involvement in global warming efforts. Dwayne Johnson will still be a pretty sweet one, I think. I've got a lot of respect for his work ethic and stuff. But yeah, I'm going to stick with those for now. Starter would probably be, I'm thinking chicken livers with a Portuguese roll. Yum. Something plain and simple, not too dramatic. Actually, one of two. Either it would be like a proper fillet, done medium-ish, with cream spinach and chips. I'm going to keep it super simple. It's a favorite. I haven't had oysters for a while, and when I was in New Orleans, their char-grilled oysters were ridiculous. I can't wait until lockdown ends and I can get some of that. I'm not sure I would choose oysters for my last meal, though, so I'm going to stick with a fillet and maybe cream spinach and chips, just like straight up easy. And for dessert, either a cheesecake or lemon meringue, I think. Yeah. I'm currently, let me tell you the story first. I'm currently watching on Netflix a thing called The Last Dance. It's a mini-series on Michael Jordan's career, and specifically his last season when they won their, I think, 6th NBA title. So I think what would be pretty amazing is to have like 4 of the greats. So, and I'm not saying who the best is, LeBron is, but I'm not going to say that. So I would, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and maybe someone like a Dennis Rodman. I think that could make for ridiculous conversation in that kind of sphere. Other people that I want to throw in the mix, I find someone like Conor McGregor super interesting. Just the bravado he puts up and the branding that he's done on himself, how he's pivoted from being the bad boy to the good boy, and kind of I'm back, and now he's going bad again. If you look at his latest tweets, that could be interesting. Gary V, met him in New York a couple of years ago with Jono. Interesting chap. We only had about 20-25 minutes together. I think that could make for interesting discussions. Barack Obama, I'd love to have that conversation. Super inspirational. I think he's pretty cool. Going back in history, I don't know. Only 4 people, hey? I want to stick to those. Let me go with my basketball ones for now. So LeBron, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and even, let's put Rodman in there just for fun and games. My favorite destination is without a doubt Svalbard. I've been there 7-8 years running. I was hoping to do 10 years back to back, but COVID-19 and other plans. I think it's because it's so different to everything else that I do in Africa. I mean, if you go to, for example, Londolozi for leopards, and you photograph leopards in the green foliage, and you see tigers in the green foliage, it's still speaking the same language. It's still the same kind of framework in which you work. Where Svalbard tosses without the window, and that expedition style, the cold air, feels like you're living in a movie. Svalbard, without a doubt. So it would have been my next trip. As of now, where we at? 13 May 2020. I would have left 6 days from now. I would have left for Svalbard, but not happening. So next year I'm running 2, which is psyched for. So favorite destination, easy one. Svalbard. People often ask the question of what your favorite species is to photograph. And I mean, polar bears for me, purely because of the feeling I have when I photograph them of being in that place, that wide open, crazy place. I quite enjoyed the challenge of orangutans in Borneo. That was quite cool. But I think more for the challenge thereof, of how difficult it is and how to make it work. But if I look back at my portfolio of images and what I have, it has to be elephants. I've got a lot of elephant images. And Amboseli is probably one of my favorite places in Africa. Elephants, because I think that the amount of body language they give you is more than people. So, and the interaction. And I think it's not just about creating portraits of animals, it's about going deeper and trying to photograph the personality and the character. I know it's, I shouldn't be doing that, but the personality and the interactions and stuff, that, to me, is why I think I have so many elephant images. So based on historical numbers of images that I've kind of finalized, elephants, but it would be between polar bears, elephants, and maybe orangutans in Borneo. That was quite cool. How do you feel about the 7th week of lockdown? One word. Fuck. That's all I have.